You are now listening to or watching the It Takes All Kinds podcast.
Yeah, and if you aren't, you can head over to Apple Podcasts or Spotify and listen to us now. Or head on over to Drib on YouTube and watch the video version as well.
And if you'd like to stay up to date on when we're releasing a new episode or any other fun information about the podcast, you can give us a follow on Instagram at It Takes All Kinds Podcast and on Twitter at ITAK Podcast. That's ITAK Podcast.
Without saying much else, we hope you enjoy this episode.
Yeah, boy.
Hello.
You gotta remember there's a bit of a delay, so play that whenever you play a sound, you gotta play it early, because you remember I'm hearing it. So like I'm hearing it and
all right,
it
redo
ends.
it.
We don't have to. I was just pointing out. Do you want to redo it?
Yeah, boy.
No.
All right.
You have to be quicker with it. You got to be quicker.
Why is this my fault? I don't control the song. I don't control the pause of this song either. I could, but I won't. Hey, everybody. Welcome
To the It Takes All Kinds podcast, episode 184. 185.
Let's start this over.
You're listening to this. We're recording this on September 23rd. You're listening to this on Friday, September 27th,
7th, I think, right?
7th?
I believe so. I believe
27th?
the 26th is 27th.
27th.
And yep, I was right.
And yep, right again.
Almost October, folks. You cannot see anything, but I did set up my Halloween decorations yesterday. It's funny though, but my camera angle shows none of it. I mean, the Carrie poster is always up, so I guess that technically counts. But otherwise, Gavin probably can't even see anything either. There's not much.
No.
A lot of it's in my kitchen. It just made sense. Oh, can you see the hanging skeleton in the kitchen back there?
Yeah.
In the background?
Why do you have that?
Because I told you I have these mystery hooks that hang from the ceiling, and I was like, oh,
didn't you pull one out?
Didn't you? Yeah, the one right up here. I didn't pull it out on purpose.
No, you pulled it out on purpose.
I literally hung a T-shirt up on it, and then it fell through. It's still there. It's just like there's now a cable hanging from it that sticks out. So I wouldn't trust putting anything else on it, and I won't. But speaking of All Hallows Eve, as we get into the spooky season, we do have some spooky things to talk about in a way. If you don't like the political stuff, I'm sorry, this probably isn't the episode for you. But also kind of is. It's about political or politicians, but it's like more about like stupid shit and crazy shit they've done.
Yeah.
And not about the politics stuff of it. So still stick around. I think it's pretty interesting and gross and weird. So we have a whole roundup of the right-wing lunacy this past week and what they've been creeping on. Matt Gaetz, RFK, not right wing, but we still include him in there just for posterity reasons. And the big one is Mark Robinson, the North Carolina candidate who years and years ago outed himself as a Nazi. Just said it straight up.
He said that. Yeah.
Nazi perv. He said that on the website Black Africa, a website I know Gavin frequents.
I
know you're a big fan of that website. So we got all that to talk about. And then Gavin and I dipped into episode 7 of What's a Girl to Do, the MAGA sitcom sweeping the nation, starring, let's see if I can think of her name off the top of my head. Isn't it like
Jennifer Porter?
Yeah, like Jennifer Folger Porter or something. Gavin's making a call.
I'm making a phone call.
So we watched episode 7 of that, which is the only episode you can watch for free out now. Go check it out on whatsagirl.com, I think it is.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Very bizarre. Everybody's talking about it. The guys talked about it on Office Hours, if you're a fan. I believe the Majority Report talked about it as well. So we just had to watch it during one of our movie watch-alongs, and
yeah, boy,
very interesting. And then just a little bit I wanted to talk about. This was Abraham Lincoln Gay documentary.
You watched it?
I did not watch the documentary. I still need to watch it. It might not be in theaters anymore, so I hate
it was in theaters?
It was. And
What?
it's interesting because you're thinking it sounds like, like a Matt Walsh hit piece, like Why Am I Racist, out now in theaters. Go check it out. Just do a little plug for him. No, don't go watch that. Jesus. That guy's disgusting. I wouldn't even go watch it as like a joke. It's a step too far.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sounds like it would be like a Matt Walsh documentary, but it's actually the opposite. It's like talking about how it was more normal and
More normal
accepted.
in the 1800s?
Yeah, no, seriously, and I'll get into it a little bit. But it's not like a right wing hit piece. It's like from queer people that made it. So we'll talk about that a little bit, and then the thing I'm really excited about is the clips of the week. Gavin has a clip. I have no idea what it is, and then I have a clip that I think Gavin sent in our like meme Instagram group chat that we have. That is maybe the most horrifying thing I've ever seen, the scariest thing I've ever seen. So we're gonna do a full watch of that. So
we're on
keep
the
that in
creep
mind.
episode.
Yes, it really is the creep episode. Stick around till the very end if you want to see the scariest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Not even joking. That's not a not a joke.
Wow.
How are you doing, Gab?
I'm all right.
How was
Tired
your
as
weekend?
heck. Worked.
So not good.
Yeah. It was slammed to the hospital this weekend. I don't know what it was, but we were going crazy in there. Yeah.
Gotta keep the patients in there.
Yeah, I guess so. You gotta treat people for whatever sickness they got.
You guys got to get yourself hurt and sick because the hospitals are a dying thing right now.
Yeah, no, you're right.
They need more patients.
They need more people.
I really hope that one day that's a thing. They're like, we need more people in the hospitals. We're running out of patients.
That's a whole nother conspiracy thing that I feel like some people have talked about, where they're like, oh, they had the cure for cancer and diabetes back in the 80s, but they didn't release it.
Yep.
Because money.
Mm-hmm. They say a lot about a lot of things, AIDS, all that stuff. They like to throw that around. So it was it was
a busy weekend, and cleaned a lot. Cleaned out, got rid of a lot of stuff. So if anybody finds any of my stuff lying around, sorry.
Call him. He needs
give me a call.
Give me a call if you find any of my stuff.
Yeah, please.
What
did you do this weekend?
Yeah, so before that, on Thursday, it's not technically the weekend. I got to go see something pretty special, pun intended. This comedian who I've been a fan of for a very, very long time. I maybe mentioned him before. His name's Mike Falzone. He lives here in the LA area. Gavin, I don't remember if I told you this or not, but he was a SourceFed host. If anybody remembers SourceFed.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, he was one of he came like in the later half.
I should have been a bigger
SourceFed.
fan. I should have been a bigger fan of SourceFed.
Yeah,
said no one ever.
That's a good one. Which is weird that I was a big fan. Kind of odd.
Yeah, and I knew about them, and I had watched their videos on occasion, but it wasn't like that wasn't my daily go-to.
Yeah, it was kind of the same for me. It was like, I mean, with most things I watched, it was like it would come and go. When I watch. I listened to a lot of their podcasts. That was the main thing I consumed from them. But so he, after SourceFed now he's a stand-up comedian, I think he was doing stand-up. He started doing stand-up during SourceFed times, but now doing that. Has a podcast called Dynamic Banter. That was like
one
the
of Carson's
first
faves.
Yeah, my favorite podcast. The first podcast I ever listened to, like, literally is the reason I listen to and work for podcasts. I would say, give them credit for that,
and have one.
No joke, inspired me to do that. And I've never been able to see Mike do stand up. I've always wanted to. Almost did the first time I came out here, but this time around I'm on his like text list thing where you can like it's like, how those like a lot of celebrities will be like, hey, text me at this number, and then it's just like it's like a scam for you to like get merch alerts or like ticket alerts. It's not really a scam, but it's like a
marketing.
They rope you in with it,
right?
And so that's what I assume. And like it is a lot of like, hey, if you want to come see me tonight, do this and that. But if you text back, Mike will respond, which is kind of fun.
What did you send?
I can't tell you.
Okay.
I can't tell you what I
It
said.
was a dick pic.
Oh, it was more than that. I showed hole on
Taint
Maine.
pic.
Oh, I showed hole and taint on Maine.
Wow, you
follow me,
got
guys, if
you
you
got a
wanna see
scope down in there?
Oh yeah, dude. I have a camera down there at all times.
That's
You can hear my heartbeat
crazy.
through my hole. You can see my heart beating through my hole.
oh Jesus.
It pulsates whenever my heart's beating. Could you imagine that? That'd be crazy.
no.
If anybody has
That's
a
so
video of
gross.
that, send it to me, okay?
My butthole puckering with the
beat
with
of my heart.
The beat of my heart. This is my heartbeat song. I'm gonna play.
My favorite song. Back on track though. So he sent out a text and said that he was recording a 30-minute special with a company, and
With a company to be named later.
yeah, I just don't remember their name if I'm being fully honest.
Oh, okay.
And so he sent out a text that was like, if anybody wants to go to this for free, text back. And I was like, I mean, I'll fucking take that. I mean, I'll obviously pay to support the boy, but I mean, I'm not going to pass up free shit. I'm an American. So I replied yes, and headed on my way to this place called Monk's Space. It's like
You cannot say that.
I know, you got to be careful. It's like a film warehouse where you can like rent out to film stuff. And so this company rented it out to film Mike's 30-minute stand-up special, and then another guy whose name I can't ever fucking remember for some reason.
Did you watch him too?
Yes, yeah.
You watch both?
I did. But in typical me fashion, I did show up late. Part of me keeps wanting to blame that on the fact that I'm not used to the city yet, but truly it was I just left too late. So it took me a while to find parking. And even one of the I'll also just say, even one of the things Mike sent me, because I asked him if he knew if doors were at 6:30 or if the show started at 6:30. So he was like, I'm pretty sure doors are at 6:30, but he's like, the production crew wants you to get there as early as you can because they don't want people coming in.
And you read that and you're like, oh well, that means I can come in at 6:30.
No, that meant
you're
that
like,
I was
oh, they don't want me to come in at 6:30. I'm gonna come in at 6:30.
So I was like, oh, okay, I'll be there. Oh yeah, I'll be there on time for sure.
Oh yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there early.
I'll be there so early they'll want to kick me out.
I'm very famous for it.
I'm well known for being early. So I showed up and I was just kind of like, I was like, my assumption is that doors are going to be at 6:30 and the show would start at 7. And so I think I walked in at like 7:05 or something, or like 7:10. Okay. And I was just like, if I show up and they're like, they don't want me to go in, I totally get that. Like, I'm one of those people who's like, if I know I'm going to be late. So like, if they're like, you're too late, then I'm like, okay. Like, I totally get it. Like, I fucked up. I'm the one who's late. Like, it's my fault.
My fault.
Like, I'm not like, what am I going to do? Freak out about it? Like, it's totally my fault. So I was like, if they turn me away, that's totally cool. Like, whatever. So I showed up, I walked in, I was like, hey, I'm like, I'm sorry I'm late. I don't know what you like. I can just stand in the back and wait until they, the next comedian comes up or whatever. And she's like, let me talk to somebody and have them come seat you. So she like goes on her walkie-talkie. She's like, yeah, we got that music started playing. She's like, yeah, we got this guy up here. She's like saying all this stuff. And then I was like, do you want me to just like, I'm going to stand in the back? She's like, no. She's like, someone will come and seat you. I was like, okay. So this guy comes out and he's like, yeah, so we're about a quarter of the way through. So he's like, we're just going to sneak you on in here real quick. And I was like, okay. And so like, he walked me in. He's like, you're going to sit there. Okay. And I was like, okay. And then I sat down. I was just like, here we are. Yeah. Immediately started fake laughing. So unfortunately I missed a good portion of Mike's set, which I was upset about, which I'm just like, I feel bad that I was late, but also it's like, I can see Mike like literally any night of the week out here in LA, which is nice. So
is he like out
it's okay
all the time?
Oh yeah, like literally almost every night here. So I feel bad for being late, but I was also like, I could see him anytime. It's okay. But it was interesting the way
boy.
I obviously I've never even been to like a stand-up show proper. Gavin and I were talking about. We've been to like comedy shows. Like I think the closest
Yeah.
thing to a stand-up show was Neil Hamburger,
Hamburger,
and even that's
yeah.
not really
Neil
that's like
Hamburger.
Neil Hamburg. That's like barely stand-up.
No, yeah, that's
And so I didn't know what to expect, especially with a special taping. But so yeah, what they would do is like the comedians would run their set like it was a normal show, and then they would exit, and then a production guy, the director presumably, would come up and he was like, "Okay, folks, we're gonna have like Mike come up and do his exit again and do all that," and then later on they even had the guy was like, "Yeah, we're actually gonna have Mike come up here. He wants to redo a joke again that he messed up." And so I was like, oh wow. So like, I mean, I knew at like big arena, special tapings, usually what will happen is they'll like do a 3-day run of shows and then they'll like record 2 of them. So that way, if they like fucked up jokes from one of them, they can just splice it in with the other. But since this was like a one night only thing, they would like come up and redo the jokes, which was very,
Do they wear
very
the same
odd.
shirt every 3 nights? They
I would
kinda have
assume
to.
so. Yeah,
Yeah, I guess they
probably.
kind of have to. I mean, I would assume they also have like 3 copies of the shirt,
Right.
or they're
would assume.
or they're very cheap and they're like, I'm just gonna wash it.
It could be. They
Gonna
could
go
do
home
that
and
too.
wash it.
But since this was a one night only thing, they would come up and redo it, which that was like very. I was like surprised by that. I was like, oh, I thought they would just one and done and that was it. But they were like,
Yeah.
they really ran it like we were like a paid audience there to like a sitcom. It was it was very interesting. It was kind of, it was cool. I didn't know that that's what they would do. But yeah, it was great. Mike obviously killed it. He's great. I love his. I would say I'm not like the biggest stand-up comedy fan in general. That's just not really my thing. But I like Mike's comedy so much and the way he tells jokes and crafts it that I just it's great. He also has a show that's strictly crowd work. It's called Surrounded, where like he literally. Like he tells all the comedians, you cannot do any prepared jokes. It's just you go up there and you talk to the audience. And that's my favorite because I love improv comedy, and that's very like improv-y jokes. You have no idea what's going to happen. You're feeding off of what the audience is telling you.
And you can also kind of be a dick with crowd work too.
Yeah, exactly. You could go in any direction with it you want. And because Mike does that, like that's what he's great at all of it, but like that's for me
that's
that's
his
like
expertise.
Yeah, that's his expertise, and so those are really fun when he would do that. And so yeah, it was great. It was really cool to go see that, and a lot of fun. But I just wanted to give that a shout out.
Shout out.
So if anybody's in the LA area, he goes on like every night.
It does make me wonder because there's that show Barry on HBO.
Yes.
It takes place in kind of like a really small like stage area. I'm curious where that was filmed. And I mean, because it was, I'll have to find where it was actually filmed, and then you could probably go see it. But it's a very small area too.
Well, it's
I don't know
probably
how
a
big
sound stage, I bet.
Yeah, I think it was like a sound stage, I guess.
Yeah.
Kind of. It was like they did a play in the show.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
I see.
So it's like, I'm curious. Whenever I visualized him coming out on stage and stuff like that, I was visualizing the Barry stage.
Yeah.
With like kind of like bleachers going down.
Oh
into,
yeah,
like, the-
this was like it really to me. It felt like it reminded me a lot of like a hip, new like wedding venue.
Really,
It was
okay.
literally like a warehouse room that really hadn't been renovated, so you have like exposed brick and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they slapped a stage up there and then put like terrible folding chairs around it. My
Hell yeah.
back was killing me. And it was very hot in that room. It was so hot.
Okay, so it wasn't like the Barry stage. Okay.
I don't think so. I couldn't find a picture of it, but I would assume not. Yeah, no, this is a very intimate show. So yeah, it was great. And then had a nice weekend. Took the weekend off. Did some flea markets, which were fun. Got some shirts and stuff. Went to it's actually kind of interesting. I went to a flea market downtown. It's my first time going downtown.
By the Maze Bank building.
Don't know what that is. Oh,
That's the
yeah, it's a
GTA.
GTA thing.
GTA.
That's a
yeah.
GTA thing. Yeah, it was right next door.
The round building, the
Of
really tall
course.
round building.
Yeah.
Was it? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
That's in LA. There's like it's like a circle top. It's got a circle top.
Here we go. Tall.
I know that's in LA.
Tall round building, LA. Capitol Records building.
Yo, yeah. Wait, there it is. I see it. Oh fuck.
Rotel. What is this?
Hold on, I'm trying to find it.
Yeah, the Capitol Records building. Is that what you're talking about?
No, it's not the Capitol Records building. I'm not that stupid.
Well, I mean, I don't know. You've never been here.
Hold on, I'll show it.
Oh,
I'll share
I'm
it.
seeing it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Just look up downtown LA. I was thinking that building.
The round towers of Weston. Something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that. It looks like a hotel from what I can see. They look like big cylinders. It's like three of them.
It's like stacked on top of each other. Yeah,
I don't think they're stacked.
it's like a
up.
wedding cake.
Oh, there's another one. There's a few round buildings. So the U.S.
Yeah.
Bank Tower.
Yeah, the very tall one.
Okay. Yeah,
The
no,
tallest
I
one in
didn't see
downtown
it.
LA.
Yeah, no, I didn't see it. I haven't really been able. It's always so. There's always just a layer of filth blocking my view of downtown. And this was more. It was downtown, but it wasn't like where the skyscrapers are. It was like
okay.
the fashion district. Sorry, that was really weird. I felt like it was inside of my apartment.
Yeah, I was like, you okay, man?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's just that I had some people over. So it was like the fashion district, which is like more near Skid Row, interestingly enough. But
that's famously a good place to be.
Very famously a good spot, and boy was it. But it was a flea market that was at the Guess headquarters, like Guess Jeans headquarters.
Oh, really?
So that was really cool to be like on their campus. You couldn't obviously go inside, but they had a little flea market.
Did you wear a Guess shirt and wear some Guess jeans? You got a Guess shoes?
No, Guess Who? No. We played Guess Who. No, I don't have it. I sold all my Guess stuff because Guess isn't really, I mean, I hate to break it, but Guess isn't really a very popular brand at the moment. They're doing okay, but they were like 5 years ago. They had a peak that kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Came and went.
Yeah, I agree.
But that was really cool because it was like, I was a huge fan of the Guess brand, and it was cool to be there, and got to buy a shirt from this brand I really like called Bare Knuckles. Yeah.
At the flea market?
At the flea market, yeah. It was a new shirt. I bought a new shirt for once, not a used one. I know, surprising. But I did buy this. This is the used shirt.
This is a new shirt, by the way.
That is a new shirt. You were showing it. You got two of them. Gavin's a communist. Two of them. Gavin's a communist, and he bought a bunch of shirts that are the same but slightly different colors.
It was two.
Well, we don't need to split hairs, do we? We should watch. Should we? I wanted to ask you this. You keep bringing up Hawk Tuah. It's like you're obsessed or something. Should we do a Hawk Tuah podcast watch along in the Discord sometime?
Fuck, no.
No, you're gonna do it.
No, we could. We can.
I'd do it for a little bit. It has to be a good guest.
Yeah, and it has to be like someone worthwhile.
Yeah.
It can't just be like one of her friends.
Right.
Which, I mean, we're probably also guilty of. It's the number 4 podcast in the United States on Spotify.
I mean, it's
right behind Joe Rogan, Candace Owens, and it's like I think Charlie Kirk.
I didn't know Candy was at the top.
Yeah, she's number 2 or number 3.
God, people just love that shit.
Everybody,
Jesus
someone was like,
Christ.
do only bad people listen to podcasts?
I guess so. I mean, I don't.
Hey, I'm not
so.
bagging on our fan base, but I think you guys are all great people.
I think you're all bad people. I'll be honest.
Okay.
We'll play,
cop, bad cop.
Yeah, exactly. Good cock, good clock, bad cock.
But clock.
Good cock, bad cock. Which is a game that I think
we're about
Matt
to start
Gaetz
playing.
is pretty good at.
You're right. Getting right into it.
I guess I was jumping into it. I was trying to just find a name I could segue that into, but yeah, let's go. Let's talk about Matt Gaetz and RFK real quick. 2 unrelated stories, but they're 2 quick ones that Gavin pulled for us. So now we're going into our right-wing roundup of who's creeping this week, and it's quite a few. So Gavin, who would you like to start with?
So I'm going to start out with the Matt Gaetz, just to go right into it. So this has kind of been an ongoing story, but he actually did get this is a different headline, but he also got slapped with a bar complaint. Matt Gaetz tied to teen sex and drug party in new late night Florida filing. This is from rawstory.com, so I don't know how accurate this is, but it was on my side of Twitter, so go ahead. That might be a left wing. Who knows, right?
No, it's all. I mean, I'm seeing lots of Vanity Fair, The Independent, Newsweek. I mean, everybody's reporting on it.
Everybody's reporting on it.
Pensacola News. I mean, it's getting reported everywhere. So it's
according to a report from Jose Pagliari at Notice, the specter of a sex scandal has once again bloomed for the controversial Florida Republican. At the same time, the GOP is reeling over another sex scandal involving North Carolina gubernatorial nominee Mark Robinson,
which we'll get to.
which we'll get to. As Plagiary wrote, Gaetz is accused of attending a drug-fueled sex party in 2017 with the 17-year-old girl at the center of the alleged sex trafficking scandal in a court filing in Florida posted just before midnight in Florida.
Which we talked about. Sorry.
I think it was technically Friday. Friday was whenever it was posted.
Yeah.
Which
we went over the trafficking stuff like fucking. I think we were in my
forever ago.
In my parents' house still, like the first few. I want to say.
So he's still not improved any of his character. His character has not. He's been exactly the same. And so let's see. The minor, who was a junior in high school at the time, Jesus Christ, arrived in her mother's car for a July 15, 2017 party at the Florida home of Chris Dorworth.
I did not read that
lobbyist
part.
and friend of and a friend of Gaetz's, according to a court filing written by defense attorneys who interviewed witnesses as part of an ongoing civil lawsuit Dorworth brought in 2023. While Dorworth dropped his lawsuit, his lawyers listed the allegations in the filing as part of their efforts to recoup legal fees still due to them. This could create more problems for the Florida Republican, who is already at the center of a House Ethics Committee investigation looking into allegations of sexual misconduct. So this guy's just a fucking pest.
Yeah, he's the worst.
He's the absolute worst.
Yeah, he's part of that. Like,
so
rat,
basically, this marks the first time that sworn testimony has been referenced in public court filings alleging that the congressman attended one of the long-rumored parties tied to an alleged underage sex scandal.
Yeah.
So that was just a short story there.
Yeah,
short story to feed the audience. Do what you want with that, but if you live in Florida, you know anyone living in Florida, do not consider Matt Gaetz as a reasonable person.
I feel like you can just look at there's just people who just look a certain way and you're just like, yeah,
he's got the Charlie Kirk punchable face.
He's got a
physiognomy.
He is butthead. He is butthead.
Yeah, legitimately he does look like yeah, but he looks like butthead.
I mean, so there's Matt Gaetz.
So Matt Gaetz
up to no good.
So up to no good. What's he up to? Nothing good.
Nothing.
So what's next? What we got?
Let's talk about this another thing that kind of came out. This one not as disgusting, and
that is weird, but
not as weird, just more interesting. I don't know, it's pretty odd, but this is about RFK, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Which again, I think many people have commented everything we have learned about RFK has been against our will.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm saying this directly into the camera.
Yeah.
I did not search this up. This came up and it was reported on by multiple sources.
Yeah. And it's very quick.
I did not seek this out.
It's very short and kind of
sweet.
Kind of sweet.
It's kind of sweet.
Well, let's just say Larry's wife is maybe got cheated on. Excuse me.
Cheryl.
Excuse me.
Cheryl. What are you doing, Cheryl? Come back.
Cheryl.
Do you want me to start reading it? You want me to start with it?
Yeah, if you want to.
All right, here it is. Status scoop. This is from status.news.
A lot of really good trusted news sources this week. I love it. It's kind of funny because it's like,
I think we should keep trying to pull as many weird ones that we find. I think that should
obviously
be our new bit.
True stories. Like, we're not
real.
gonna make shit up. I literally just corroborated the story of Matt Gaetz with other news sources. I'll do the same right now with RFK just to make sure, but I'm almost 100% sure this is true. Yeah, New York. I mean, everybody. Yeah, again.
Okay, so
Once
status
again. But
scoop.
yeah, I like that. Start pulling from like the craziest sources ever.
Status.news.
The most trusted news source.
This
out
is outside our top 5 most trusted news sources. Number 1 still being artnet.com.
Of course. Yeah, our 2 favorite news sources are rawstory.com and
status.news.
status.news, baby. Take it away.
I have to subscribe. So, Nuzzy's RFK relationship.
You can definitely not say that anymore.
Well, Olivia Nuzzy is her name.
I don't like it. Change it. Change
Newsy?
your name.
It feels weird. It feels bad to be
I'm
like,
a newsy boy."
Olivia Newsy.
Olivia Newsy.
Nuzzles you.
Nuzzies me. She might have. Well,
New York Magazine on Thursday said its Washington correspondent Olivia Nuzzy is on leave after learning the Star journalist had allegedly engaged in an inappropriate relationship with a reporting subject. That person is RFK Jr., according to people familiar with the matter. Quote, recently our Washington correspondent Olivia Nuzzy acknowledged to the magazine's editors that she had engaged in a personal relationship with a former subject relevant to the 2024 campaign while she was reporting on the campaign. A violation of the magazine standards around conflicts of interest and disclosures, a spokesperson for New York Magazine said in a statement in response to questions from Status. Quote, had the magazine been aware of this relationship, she would not have continued to cover the presidential campaign, the spokesperson added. An internal review of her published work has found no inaccuracies nor evidence of bias. She is currently on leave from the magazine, and the magazine is conducting a more thorough third-party review. We regret this violation of our readers' trust. In her own statement, provided to Status after this story initially published, Nuzzy confirmed that, quote, earlier this year, the nature of some communication, end quote, between herself and a former reporting subject turned personal. During that time, it did not directly report on the subject nor use them as a source. The relationship was never physical, but should have been disclosed to prevent the appearance of a conflict. I deeply regret not doing so immediately and apologize to those I would disappoint, especially my colleagues at New York. So what I had seen is that she went on a hiking trip with RFK.
Well, so here's something I'm just finding from, I'm sorry, this is a trusted news source, the Daily Beast,
fuck.
actually a known news source. The Daily Beast is reporting that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is boasting to friends that star reporter Olivia Nuzzy had sent him intimate photos that led to the scandal to explode, the Daily Beast can reveal. News of the 7-year-old bragging reached the ears of 31-year-old New York Magazine correspondent's boss, who confronted her over the photos. So it seems to be where this started, is that he was like, I got these photos of her nude. Sorry, I'm doing the voice. I'm over it at this point. He's a piece of shit. It's okay. And so he was bragging to people about that, and then that
Cheryl told Larry. Larry told
Larry told Richard Lewis, rest in peace.
Then he talked to Seinfeld,
and then Seinfeld took it to the New York Magazine.
Swimmer.
Richard Swimmer, David Schwimmer, David Swimmers.
Right.
How strong are David Swimmers? And then that got to her boss, and then now here we are. Yeah, and it's interesting because she says that it never got
personal.
Physical. She said her words were physical.
Then
which still could be true.
The statement from Kennedy says this. A representative from Kennedy,
you don't have to
who mounted a third party. What's that?
You don't have to read it in his voice.
No, I don't, because it's a representative for Kennedy.
Right.
That's why
yeah.
I specified.
Well, that's why I told you.
Mr. Kennedy only met Olivia Nuzzy once in his life for an interview she requested, which yielded a hit piece. The spokesperson said.
That must be the same spokesperson who works for Trump or something.
Yeah, they probably
very
are.
Trumpian response.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean that's
that happened.
Yeah, I just feel for Cheryl.
I did not seek this out.
No, of course not. I just feel for Cheryl, of course.
She's married
to
Cheryl.
Yeah, she's married to him, and he's just like, I got all.
Isn't that kind of been his whole thing? Is that he like aren't all the Kennedys just these womanizers?
Yeah, they're sleazebags.
That's their whole thing, right?
And women. Let's talk about women here for a minute.
And I'll speak for the
are
women here.
obsessed with the Kennedys, and it's driving me crazy.
They just never fucking stop.
Sorry, I took a red pill over the weekend, so I know. So yeah, RFK creep, not that surprising at all. Definitely a creep, definitely a fucking lunatic, that's for sure.
Well, he's got brainworms, so his judgment's impaired.
Right. That's why it made him chop the head off of a whale and take it home and stuff. Did you hear that story?
Yeah, I did. Like that was another investigation.
Yeah.
I think the FBI had a look at that.
Yeah, probably.
They're like, that's fucking bizarre, dude. Like that is wrong. Like,
yeah, lots of weird stuff. But his daughter referred to that as just an average weekend in the Kennedy household. So,
well, he's got a bit of redneck in him. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Right,
video, but he's got a bit of redneck in him.
He spent a lot of time in Central Park, out in nature, or wherever. Now we got Mark Robinson. You brought this to my attention. I didn't hear anything about it, but I had been seeing his name posted. I just didn't know. I'd never dug in to it. But then when you told me, I was like, whoa, now.
This story gets deep
and dark.
This is a very weird story. Do you want me to go into it?
Yeah, please. All
right. So this is from CNN. CNN was like the main proprietor of this information. They were the people that reported it first, and then everybody, they went in. Like, this is a long article. Well, this is a very long article.
If you go to this article that's titled, "I am a Black Nazi, NC GOP nominee for governor made dozens of disturbing comments on a porn forum," or on porn forum. They made this like whole like edit.
Porn forum was my band's name in high school.
Yeah, porn. We are porn forum. They made this whole like fancy little like graphic, which I've never seen them do before. So they were really excited about this one. But yeah, take it away, porn forum.
So I'm a black Nazi.
You are.
Sorry. I am a black Nazi, quote unquote.
Wow, this is
Mark Robinson, the controversial and socially conservative Republican nominee for governor of North Carolina, made a series of inflammatory comments on a pornography website's message board more than a decade ago, which he referred to himself as a black Nazi, all quotes, exclamation point.
Now, again,
all caps.
I want to stop you right there because he could be a changed man. This is a decade ago.
He has not ran on a platform that would show that he has changed.
Well, I guess I'll take your word on it.
I love democracy.
I love democracy.
And expressed support for reinstating slavery, a CNN K-File investigation found. Despite a recent history of anti-transgender rhetoric, Robinson said he enjoyed watching transgender pornography, a review of archived messages in which he also referred to himself as a perv. The comments, which Robertson denies making, predate his entry into politics and current stint as North Carolina's lieutenant governor. They were made under a username that CNN was able to identify as Robin by matching a litany of biographical details. Did they do a DNA test with him or something? They're like,
sounds like
they're
it.
like they got like a piece of his hair, and they're like,
well, he doesn't have any.
Well, they got a piece of him somewhere, his nails or something, and they're like, we got DNA with your name on it, and we traced it all the way back to a porn forum.
We traced your DNA all the way back to an email address.
That's what they did, and so many people were kind of shocked that nobody does this more often.
Yeah,
like no new reporting sites ever get like a personal email from someone and then like traces it back to, any other websites that they possibly could have been on, but they went in.
Yeah, and he was using.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Anyway, sorry.
He was using He was using a username Mini Soldier
on like public things with his face in it and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like there's no.
The username is Mini Soldier.
Yeah.
So many of Robinson's comments were gratuitously sexual and lewd in nature. So for the family members at home, for the families that are watching this at home, close your children's ears.
Close their ears. Duct tape.
They were made between 2008 and 2012 on Nude Africa, a pornographic website that includes a message board. The comments were made under the username Mini Soldier, SOLDR, a moniker Robinson used frequently online. I'm going to talk like a news reporter the entire time because that's
good. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
And isn't that interesting? Doesn't that line up perfectly with Obama's first term in presidency?
Does, yeah.
I don't know. I just find that interesting. It's just weird that it's so specific. 2008 to 2012. Sorry, I just had to point that out.
Yeah. Take what you want from that.
Just, yeah, I don't know. It just...
Robinson listed his full name on his profile for Nude Africa, as well as an email address he used on numerous websites across the internet for decades.
Of course.
CNN is reporting only a small portion of Robinson's comments on the website, given their graphic nature.
Great.
Many of Robinson's comments on Nude Africa stand in contrast to his public stances on issues such as abortion and transgender rights. Publicly, Robinson has fiercely argued that people should use bathrooms that only correspond to the gender they were assigned at birth. He's also said transgender women should be arrested for using women's restrooms. Quote, if you're a man on Friday night and all of a sudden Saturday you feel like a woman and you want to go in the women's bathroom in the mall, you will be arrested or whatever we got to do to you, Robinson said at a campaign rally in February 2024. We're going to protect our women. Right. Yet privately under the username Mini Soldier on Nude Africa, Robinson graphically described his own sexual arousal as an adult from the memory of secretly peeping on women in public gym showers as a 14-year-old. Robinson recounted the story as a memory he said he still fantasized about.
Jesus Christ. Jesus.
This story is just the surface here.
Well, he said he's a perv.
Yeah, he said he's a perv, but I mean, peeping Tom? Come on.
Come on,
That's disingenuous.
Yeah.
Give him a little bit more grace here. He said, I came to a spot that was a dead end, but had two big vent covers over it. Exclamation point.
Wow, he really went in detail of how he did it.
Yes, he did. Yes. He did. He did. It just so happened it overlooked the showers! Exclamation point.
The showers!
I sat there for about an hour and watched as several girls came in and showered. Robinson wrote on Nude Africa. CNN is not publishing the graphic sexual details of Robinson's story.
Why not? That's the best
probably
part.
Talked about jacking off to it or something.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I guess I don't want to hear about that as a 14-year-old doing that. That is a little weird.
I went peeping again the next morning, Robinson wrote. But after that, I went back. The ladder was locked. So there's two times where, that's what he actually said, where the only times I got to do it. Memories.
Damn, what a shame they locked that up. It's almost like maybe they noticed that he was there for an hour or something.
Yeah, they're probably like, this fucker's back. He's trying to get back. Jesus. He said, in other comments on Nude Africa, Robinson discussed his affinity for transgender pornography. Mm-hmm. Quote, I like watching tranny on girl porn. That's fucking hot. It takes the man out while leaving the man in, Robinson wrote. And yeah, I'm a perv too. In an interview with CNN on Thursday, Robinson repeatedly denied that he made the comments on Nude Africa. He said, this is not us. These are not our words. And this is not anything that is characteristic of me, Robinson said. Presented with the litany of evidence connecting him with the Mini Soldier username on Nude Africa, Robinson said, I'm not going to get into the minutia of how somebody manufactured these salacious tabloid lies.
I don't think it's a tabloid lie if it's just something they're literally found. That's
with his name
inherently not a lie.
It's just another guy who also went to these sites in those years.
And honestly, it's even more what's the word I'm looking for? He's even more guilty that this wasn't recent. Because then it's like, why would, before he even entered politics, what do they say, 4 years before he entered or something, a few years before he entered? Yeah. So it's very obviously him, because why would someone nobody can go back in time to manufacture this. That's not a thing.
It would be like someone knew that he was going to be a politician in 2024.
Predicted it. Yeah, so literally just makes you even more guilty.
Sorry, pal.
Yeah.
Not really sorry, though.
No.
CNN first reached out to Robinson Tuesday morning with evidence connecting him to the comments on Nude Africa. It took his campaign 2 days to respond and issue a denial. They made sure to put that line in there that they were like, this guy is fucking guilty.
Yeah.
During his interview with CNN, Robinson repeatedly said the issues that faced North Carolinians were more important than what he called tabloid trash, and he steered the conversation toward attacking his opponent in the race, Democrat Josh Stein, the state's attorney general. We're not getting out of this race. There are people who are counting on us to win this race, Robinson said.
Well, you're screwed now, buddy. That's it. If people can lose an election based off of doing something weird with their voice, like the woohoo, then I think this will definitely you're done.
This kind
buddy.
of constitutes it.
And actually, Gavin, if you have more to say, there's a breaking news today about it, but I will let you finish, but I don't want to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, even more so, breaking news, I guess it was yesterday. I thought it was today, that a top staffer from Mark Robinson's campaign resigned. I'm pretty sure, I thought I heard that like his whole campaign team resigned. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Nearly all of Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson's campaign staff quits after CNN report. That was reported yesterday. So probably the same staff that like sent out the message responding, being like,
they're like, hey, this was also the resignation email too.
So
I have more.
Yeah. Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just had to,
no, that is actually, that's perfect timing.
Sorry,
yeah.
Now I threw it all off.
Oh man, this is crazy. No, I'm just reading ahead here. Campaigning for lieutenant governor in 2020, Robinson advocated for a complete abortion ban without exceptions. He later expressed regret in 2022 for paying for his now wife to have an abortion in the 1980s.
Yes.
I remember hearing about that. Now campaigning for governor, he says he supports a so-called heartbeat bill that would ban abortion when a heartbeat is detected, approximately 6 weeks, with exceptions for rape, incest, and health of the mother. But writing as mini soldier... I'm gonna keep playing it like it's like a character of his.
Yeah, his new character.
But playing a character known as Mini Soldier on Nude Africa in December 2010, Robinson said he did not care about a celebrity having an abortion. Quote, I don't care. I just want to see the sex tape, Robinson wrote.
Ugh.
In another thread, commenters considered whether to believe the story of a woman who said she was raped by her taxi driver while intoxicated. In response, Robinson wrote, and the moral of this story, don't fuck a white bitch. His words, not mine. Robinson, who would become North Carolina's first black governor if elected, also repeatedly maligned civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr., attacking him in such intense terms that a user accused him of being a white supremacist.
Oh, a user accused Mark of being a white supremacist.
Yes, they accused him on Nude Africa.
But he's like, no. I need you to know I am black. That I want you to know that.
And he does say that, by the way.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I just assumed.
Yeah. Well, he kind of infers it. He says, he continues, get that fucking commie bastard off the National Mall! ! Robinson wrote about the dedication of the memorial to King in Washington, D.C. by then President Barack Obama. Mm-hmm. See, it pulls in there. I'm not in the KKK. They don't let blacks join. If I was in the KKK, I would have called him Martin Lucifer something else. I'm not going to say that.
No.
Robinson responded. CNN's reporting on Robinson's comments comes a few weeks after the Assembly, a North Carolina digital publication, reported that Robinson frequented local video pornography shops in the 1990s and 2000s. It wasn't Mark Robinson. Let me just clarify here. This is not Mark Robinson. This is Mini Soldier.
Yeah, of course. It was his character.
It was this person.
That was the direction he should have taken.
Yeah, it really should. It should have been. And instead he was like, this is tabloid trash. And it wasn't me from all those years ago. Someone planned this. They plotted this for years and years and years.
They knew this was going to come in handy.
The story cited 6 people who interacted and saw him frequent the stores in Greensboro, North Carolina. A spokesperson for Robinson called the story false and a complete fiction. Despite earning the full endorsement of former President Donald Trump and the North Carolina Republican Party, Robinson faces an uphill battle in the race for governor against Stein.
Certainly is.
Robinson's history of controversial remarks, including mocking school shooting survivors, his past support for total abortion bans without exceptions for rape or incest, and disparaging the civil rights movement, have been a consistent theme in the race. Recent public polling shows Robinson is losing to Stein. On the Nude Africa website, in both comments and his profile, Mini Soldier offered numerous details that align precisely with Robinson's personal history. In his profile, Mini Soldier listed his full name as Mark Robinson and disclosed a private email address Robinson used elsewhere online. In 2012, a user responded to a comment by calling Mini Soldier Mark. Mini Soldier mentioned in 2008 being married for 18 years, which corresponds with Robinson's marriage to Yolanda Hill in 1990. In 2011, Mini Soldier wrote he had been married 21 years. Mini Soldier wrote in a 2011 post that he lived in Greensboro, North Carolina, the same town where Robinson lived at the time and currently lives. In a post in 2012, Mini Soldier said he served in the Army in the 1980s, during the same time as Robinson. His sexually graphic comments detailing watching women in the showers in 2011, Mini Soldier wrote that his mother worked at a historically black college and university, HBCU. Robinson's mother worked as a custodian at North Carolina A&T University, an HBCU located in Greensboro. Both Mini Soldier and Robinson often posted about the same topics online, including reviews for remote-controlled helicopters, their attraction-specific celebrities, and their favorite Twilight Zone episode. The email address associated with Mini Soldier on Nude Africa was also used by Robinson elsewhere online and social media. The commenting platform Discus, a user who joined in April 2011, featured Mark Robinson's photo under the same username, Mini Soldier. So he is about as guilty as it gets when it comes to these things.
They really dug into this, though. Good for
went
CNN on that.
Holy shit!
They got
this
everything.
is great.
Because I mean,
This is
it's just like
fantastic.
it's just so much proof, like so much evidence that's like
Well,
so
and there's even
obvious.
more here. There's more here.
Oh, I can't
Usernames
wait.
and email addresses from Discus were publicly leaked online in 2017, according to the company. CNN confirmed that Robinson's username Mini Soldier on Discus shared the same email address as the one used on Nude Africa. Robinson's Discus page is also linked to the black social networking site Black Planet. The web archive shows a user named Mini Soldier describing themselves as 40 years old in February 2009, which was the same age as Robinson at the time, and also living in Greensboro, North Carolina, which is also Robinson's hometown. There's even more in the pornographic forums. Then it goes into he used Mini Soldier for everything.
Yeah.
Amazon, YouTube, Facebook. There's he also has a unique choice of language with the Mini Soldier alias on pornographic forums. Uncommon phrases such as "gaga maggot," "dunderhead," "I don't give a frog's ass," and "I don't give two shakes of it" were used by both Mini Soldier on Nude Africa and by Robinson on his personal Facebook page. In the pornographic forums, Robinson revealed his unvarnished thoughts on issues such as race, gender, and abortion. Writing in a forum discussing black Republicans in October 2010, Robinson stated, unprovoked, "I am a black Nazi." That same month, Robinson wrote in another post that he supported the return of slavery. "Slavery is not bad. Some people need to be slaves. I wish they would bring slavery, back. I would certainly buy a few," he wrote. In March 2012, Robinson wrote that he preferred the former leader of Nazi Germany, Adolf Hitler, over the leadership in Washington during the administration of Barack Obama. "I take Hitler over any of the shit that's in Washington right now," he wrote. Robinson's comments on Nude Africa often frequently contain derogatory and racial slurs directed at black, Jewish, and Muslim people. So there's those.
There's that. So there's that.
There's that. There's a lot. There is a lot here. This is like that basically that's the sum of it, is that he used a lot of slurs. He used a lot, and these are probably not even the bad ones. I don't even want to say any of these.
No.
Like I don't know what is, what isn't, so I'm not even gonna play it.
Right. I don't blame you. It
is vile. It is really bad. Like it's just like nobody would say this about other people, let alone online under an alias that is tied to a personal email, which is also tied to your personal Facebook page,
where you give
which
all
also
your info
has
out.
all of the same language that you would be using.
Right.
Anyway, so this guy is a piece of shit.
Yeah, and I wonder if the people on Nude Africa were like, "Hey man, you got some good ideas. You should run for."
And
government.
I would be curious to know what those conversations looked like on Black Africa. Where I'm not saying that context matters in this, because there's no fucking way that anybody would be able to defend themselves in this situation. But it is like if this is the tamer stuff that he was saying on those, what the hell was he saying that someone was like, "Bro, you're a white nationalist"?
Yeah, or what went so far that CNN was like, "We're not even going to report on some of the shit that he really said."
Yeah, it's
that bad.
That's that bad.
I mean, maybe someone will vote. Maybe somebody wants a goon god governor. A goon god damn governor. A gooner
he
for
would
governor.
be the first gooner governor.
Yeah, gooner for governor.
It's not a gubernatorial race. It's a goonernatorial.
Goonernatorial. Gooner natural.
Yeah, goonernatorial race. Yes.
Yeah, I mean it's really gross. And I wanted to just say this real quick because I've heard this being thrown around, especially in like the like online influencer space, that like what CNN is reporting on is not doxing him in any way. Anything that's online is out there and up for grabs. That is not doxing someone. I've heard this, not in this case, which I'm surprised I'm not actually hearing it, but I've heard like something similar happen in like the online space where like people like literally did the exact same thing. They found someone's username, tracked that username to Reddit, tracked this to that, and yada yada, down the rabbit hole. And then that person was like, "You just doxed me. Like, why are you doxing me?" It's like, no.
I did.
That's
see
all
like
fair
that, yeah.
game. Yeah, that's
you
all,
posted that online on a public forum,
right? Anything
that anybody can go to at any given time. They can pull up your username and pull it up.
Anything you put out there is fair game. It's out there for everyone. It's not
and
doxing
CNN
someone.
even
It's
pulled
your
up
fault.
the web archive. So
Right.
even if it's deleted, the website's long gone.
Yep.
It is still there.
It's
There is
still
a
there.
screenshot of it somewhere. Someone has it somewhere.
They'll get you.
They'll get you.
They'll get you for anything. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what to say about it.
I don't
it
think
just
it gets
speaks
much
for
worse than
itself.
that.
Yeah.
I don't think it gets much worse than that. That is someone who should be as far away from politics as possible.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of people people should be rightfully giving him shit, but people are also giving the North Carolinian Democratic Party shit because they're like, they should have done this. They were the ones who should have pointed this stuff out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's like if you
Why is
would've,
CNN
like,
doing it?
Right. And it's like if you would have done the correct kind of like scoping out of your opponent, you would have probably found this stuff.
Yeah. Was
But
someone
they
at
didn't.
CNN just really bored one night?
Probably, yeah. They're like,
let's dig into this.
yeah, they're like, this is a huge scoop. We should spend some time on this.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. That's
And they even gave him opportunity to reply, and that's what he replied with.
2 days later, his people did.
His people, yeah.
And then, I mean, he's going around saying that none of it's true and it's all fabricated and so on and so forth. But yeah, so there's no, I mean, if Josh Stein was already leading in the polls before, I mean,
This should be the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, I mean, this is his campaign. People are gone. They're done. They're like, you're gross and weird.
And I think I saw like a article where it was like, what would happen if he dropped out? So like,
Yeah,
if he would drop out, and he won't. But it was like, if he dropped out, like, what would that look like?
Yeah,
because it's like this North Carolina, like GOP would have to figure out someone to nominate, and that person would have to accept the nomination, and then like just run under that they're doing that, and they're like, no campaigning. It would just be like an agreed upon, like, you're gonna lose this, but
yeah, which I guess like in that, because I was gonna say, I'm like, honestly, like if he wanted to make the party look better, that would be the smart thing to do. But it's all politicians are self-centered. Sorry to just break that news to you. But in that case, it's not a big enough deal that like doing it would actually probably not be a good idea. Because like doing it in Biden's case was a good idea because they have the debates. They do more reporting on Kamala. Word gets around that more about her. Whereas like if he dropped out, like there would be no reporting on who was coming up next, like unless you followed that person.
Right.
So they're fucked either way, It's
I don't even want to say good luck because this guy sucks.
Yeah, no, Burt rotten hell. Go to hell.
Go to hell.
I was saying to you guys whenever we were talking about this on Discord last night, and it's so odd that but there's a lot of. It's no surprise. This wasn't like it was a huge shock to me in a way, but it wasn't at the same time. It's like there's just something with politicians and being humiliated. They like, they love it. It's like they don't get it enough in their real world that they like need it sexually for pleasing. It's so bizarre. I'm so interested to know where that comes from.
I love democracy.
They love it so much they gotta jag off to it.
I gotta jake off to it.
But I mean, that's why you hear about like, you know, you hear, what's the word I'm looking for? The more appropriate word. I don't want to use the word hooker. What is the word I'm looking for?
Prostitution?
Prostitutions or sex workers. That's all I could think of.
Forever.
I know. I don't know why that was the only word I could think of. And I'm like, that's really gross to say that and call them that.
Well, you know.
So these hookers,
It's
like from the 1980s.
Yeah.
These prostitutes,
You're
sex
trying
workers.
to be sex positive here.
Yeah, trying to be. These sex workers in Washington talk about, you know, like on the down,
Stomping on them.
like yeah, stomp like crazy shit in Washington. They get paid a ton of money to keep that a secret. You know, you wonder what Stormy Daniels did with Donald John President.
I'm curious, and that's the thing is that with the John President stuff,
John President,
is like all what he had to do was just not say that he didn't just been just you know, let it slide off. But
Yeah.
he couldn't handle it. He couldn't fucking handle it.
No.
Because every other person who would if someone were to come out, and it's just bizarre to think that there's so many people that do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Donald Trump is the one that just fucking denied it all flat out. And
Right.
and she was like, no, you gave me money.
Yeah,
Like,
we have
fuck
proof that you did. Yeah, you gave me hush money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a wild world out there.
Props to them.
Let's do a little. I mean, it's technically I put it in Carson's Cinema Corner, but I don't want to associate it with my segment that I
Personal takes.
my personal treasured segment.
Yeah.
But so there's. I guess maybe I should have the website pulled up. What'sagirl.com.
Hell yeah, dude.
What a weird. Let's see, What's a Girl? I think there was a Matt Walsh documentary called What's a Woman?
What's a girl? Yeah.
So what were you gonna say? I got to restart my camera anyway. So
Yeah. I'm glad that I spent a lot of bandwidth trying to stream this for you because I had to stream it, and then I had to stream the stream. So I was spending a lot of bandwidth to try and get this information out to you.
bandwidth's free, baby.
Yeah. I'm just thinking it's really funny that my family members were probably being slowed down
hell?
so that we could watch.
The hell is happening down there?
This horrible, horrible show.
It is truly awful. So I don't
Truly awful.
I like. I'm
How
not
did
even,
you first hear about this? Because I had
That's-
never heard about this.
that's what I was gonna
ever.
say,
No one
like-
I had watched and I said anything about this. What's a girl? Question mark. What's
I-
a girl to do?
I couldn't even begin to tell you, like, where the hype on this started. Like, all I literally know is that Tim briefly talked about it on Office Hours last week. And before that, he said that he didn't go into it too far because the Majority Report already did like a full report on it. And I haven't heard that episode of the Majority Report. It was probably in their paid half anyway, so I don't know if I would have heard it. But that's all I knew. All I knew about it was like Tim bringing it up, and then he showed part of it, and I was like, holy shit, like that's great. Like we gotta watch that with Gavin. I wasn't planning on even like talking about it on the podcast, and then I was like, I mean, we kind of have to. Like, what's the point of us watching that if we're not gonna like
Right.
do something? Then it just feels weird that we're watching this show.
This fucking asshole show.
But let me just read the About Us section because we haven't even read that before.
Well, yeah.
If you don't mind
that
me.
was the page that I pulled up, and I'm like, there's nothing else. It's literally just about her, though.
Right? Yeah.
It's bizarre.
Which like you get it right away that this show is about her. So it's What's a Girl to Do, which was a book called What's a Girl to Do Waiting for Mr. Right in 2002.
Holy shit.
She wrote this book. It was this is hilarious. Let me just start reading the About Us. Why am I even trying to explain it when I have it all right in front of me? And I'm sure it's all accurate. So this is on the About section of What's a Girl to Do. This is all that's here. Nothing about the show. It's just about her. About Us. Janet Folger Porter. When Janet Porter dropped the folder there, released What's a Girl to Do While Waiting for Mr. Right in 2002, it became the #2 bestseller on the Christian relationship chart. Not a number one best-selling book, and number two, not only not on the best-selling books, on the Christian and then subcategory relationship chart. Didn't even get to number one on that. Got to number two.
Hey, she's a published author, man. What more can you say? What can you say? You did that?
No, I can't. This is a great second line, though. It has since been translated into other languages and sold worldwide.
Okay.
Most people say how many languages it's been translated into. It's like a brag
sold
thing.
Worldwide.
So far, doing a terrible job marketing this. In 2018, Porter wrote and produced the What's a Girl to Do sitcom pilot. So that's when the pilot came out in 2018. With a cast of talented, award-winning actors from around the country, including Robert Davi from The Goonies, Die Hard, The Expendables 3. No joke, Robert Davi is somewhat well-known. Big Trump supporter, though. Friend of the show, Vic Berger. Vic is friends with Robert Davi. It's not a joke.
Yeah, he is.
Interesting stuff there. And then
you'll have to ask him about that next time he's on.
Just about
how he became friends with him.
Oh yeah, I think it was just like Vic tweeting stuff out, and then there was like a long time ago, Robert Davi called into office hours, and like him and Tim like started yelling back and forth, and it was really fun. That was a while ago. And then another actor, Rusty Jr. from Dodgeball, which I did not know, Melrose Place, voiceless. I'm gonna look that up because I gotta know, who did he play in Dodgeball? Because that was the sexy guy, the hot guy, her love interest was in Dodgeball.
Oh, fuck, you're right.
But I want to see him. Oh, he was on the. Did you ever see Dodgeball?
No,
the
wait.
movie with
is
Vince
that with
Vaughn?
Ben Stiller?
Vince Vaughn.
Oh, no,
wait, but Ben Stiller is in it. Yeah, Ben Stiller is in it.
That's why I know it. I'm more of a Ben Stiller fan more than a Vince Vaughn fan.
But he's like a B character.
Is he also in sci-fi movies like Sharknado or anything like that? I feel like he looks the part for those.
Yeah, maybe I can't even read what that word is. Unsullied? What the fuck? Dragonfire, Voiceless. A bunch of movies I've literally never heard of. Oh, Resident Evil Extinction in 2007.
Oh, I've heard that was really good.
Yeah, that's why it's all the way at the bottom of his Google search of movies. Anyway, sorry, going on. Mac McConnell, who I said Mac McClung, who wrote and starred in the Emmy Award-winning Fort Lauderdale Christmas pageant. I gotta know more about that right away.
Continue on with this, and we'll go back to that.
I'm sorry. I can't move on without knowing more. About this.
What did he get an award for? Running the show, producing the show, writing the show?
Wow, yeah.
Staging?
It's literally I was thinking it was a movie or a show called the Fort Lauderdale Christmas pageant. No, it is literally the Fort Lauderdale Christmas pageant.
Yeah.
So he wrote and starred in it. And it won an Emmy? I didn't even know pageants would get.
Was it like the daytime Emmys, or is it like the Showtime Emmys?
Yeah.
Something like some other subcategory of Emmy?
2020, I'm sorry, Gavin, I got to break this news real quick. In 2020, the annual Christmas pageant in Fort Lauderdale was permanently canceled.
Oh, fuck.
So that's pretty upsetting, actually. What were you going to say? I'm sorry.
No, I'm just thinking like...
I know you're upset by that.
I know that, like, for example, the hospital I work at has Emmys. And it was for, like, an ad.
Oh, yeah. It's like daytime. Like you said, it's daytime Emmy shit. Which, hey, man, you still won an Emmy.
It's an award.
Didn't know they gave out Emmys for pageants, though.
Pageants
are weird.
You probably... what probably has to happen is you have to, like, submit it.
Yeah.
Like, you have to pay money to, like, submit it and have
them
review it.
You're absolutely correct. And of course, Matt Moore, who starred in Homeless for the Holidays and The Big Fix.
I feel like I've heard Homeless for the Holidays before.
That sounds like something that
is that a Hallmark movie?
Done. Let's find out. Homeless for the Holidays.
Hallmark. It's got to be.
Oh, he was the star in it, though. Not seeing a Hallmark connection here. It was the Christian Christmas film by Breath Motion Pictures.
Yeah, boy.
Has a 3.2 on IMDb and a 48%. They did make a Homeless for the Holidays 2.
Which did get released to critical acclaim of 57%.
Oh, it did a little better. But you can watch it on Tubi, apparently.
Oh my God.
And of course, Rich Swingle. That sounds like a made-up name. That's somebody's real name, Rich Swingle. Hi, my name's Rich Swingle.
But you can just call me Dick.
But you can call me Dick Swingle. My dick be swingling, if you know what I'm saying. That's like that, like a radio show person, like your dad was talking about last night. Who won the People's Choice Actor of the Year at the International Christian Film Festival in 2021. Huge acclaim.
Where was that held? In most Christian place on earth. Yeah, I was gonna say Mississippi.
Others have since joined the cast. Don't start out a paragraph with others. What are you fucking doing? That is.
We picked apart this show.
Like I suck at English. I am the worst at English. I'm an okay writer. I enjoy writing. It's just maybe like I make mistakes. But I know you shouldn't start a paragraph with others. Others have since joined the cast, including Patricia Masiri, who starred on Days of Our Lives for 14 years. Holy shit. Why isn't that one first? That should be a way bigger deal than these other fucks. Mimi Sagadin.
You cannot say that in 2023.
Who started in Return to the Hiding Place. Don't know that. Gary Nation, who won Best Actor at the International Christian Film Festival.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning to Gary Nation.
What's up, Gary Nation? Sorry, Gavin, please don't interrupt me. This is a big deal right here.
Very important.
Who won Best Actor at the International Christian Film Festival for his role in Polycarp. And Cesar Callo, who won the Crown Point Best Actor Award at the Crown Point International Film Festival. Whew. Season 1 is in post-production while filming of Season 2 has already begun. Season 1's already out. What's a Girl to Do will counter the culture while making people laugh. What the fuck? Porter is also the founder and president of Faith to Action and the architect of the pro-life heartbeat bill introduced in Congress. 30 states and passed in 14 states and counting. She has authored 6 books, including A Heartbeat Away, The Criminalization of Christianity, and True to Life. She hosted an award-winning 60-second daily radio commentary, which aired in more than 300 markets for nearly 20 years, and a 1-hour syndicate radio program for 7 years.
You know, it's always good whenever someone says that, like, you have a face for radio.
Yeah,
and I would say that she definitely has like one of the. And I'm not
talking about her looks.
I mean, not talking about her looks, but I'm just saying like she definitely does sound like she did sound like she was on the radio. I will say her line delivery in the show was impeccable, but it was just like she was reading it for like a radio show.
Yeah, very very much so. Like that's why she never
wasn't an actor; she was a voice actor.
Right. You never see. There's never ever been. I'm saying this without knowing anything. I'm just going to flat out say it. There's probably never, ever been a big radio star who went on to be a movie star. Maybe a voice actor, a good voice actor for sure. Yeah, maybe but a movie star, unless they had a small part, doubtful.
Well, if you write your own show, you can just be a star of it.
That's what she did. So we watched episode 7, which is, like I said, is the only free episode you can
version,
watch.
The only free one. We were not going to pay for a subscription.
And this is broadcast on the PTL network, which, as far as I'm aware, Gavin, that is owned by our good friend
Rupert Murdoch.
No, Jim Baker.
Oh my God, it is.
The PTL network, often referred to as PTL, is an American.
He's a criminal, right?
Of course, convicted felon. Went to jail. Founded in South Carolina, by the way.
Oh my God.
Well, I guess it's North Carolina we were talking about earlier. By Jim and Tammy Faye Baker in 1974.
Fuck yes.
So,
and they're down at Branson right now.
Yeah, Missouri. It's weird. It's saying that it was ceased operations in 1989. But it's still around, so I don't know. Maybe they renamed it. But there's definitely a website here.
They did stuff.
Maybe we should dig into some of these shows sometime.
I think we should.
Unless if they're not sitcoms, then I don't want them. But yeah, so this wow, who is that guy? This show came out recently, as far as we know. And we watched episode 7. Excuse me. I felt like I was going to cry. Which is called The Election. That's the name of the episode. We're not really sure. Well, actually, we do know what election's going on. It's the presidential election, and she's trying to convince people to vote for Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what the whole episode is centered on. And then antics happen, of course, as a sitcom. Couldn't really explain to you what the antics are. It's really just an awful show. And like I even watched it, pretty open-minded, and it doesn't have any redeeming qualities to it at all. It's not funny. It's not interesting. I think the main point, they put in a laugh track. The main thing that Gavin kept pointing out, and then we quickly caught on to, just about every single shot is out of focus, especially the main subject. Focus. Yeah. They never change focus.
It's like they broke the center of the lens, and it doesn't focus on the center.
No, it would just focus. Odd. Yeah, whoever shot it, it was like
focus on the periphery.
Yeah, it felt to me. It really felt like college. They gave some college students like a little bit of they gave the community college. They we'll have the community college come over and shoot it, and then we'll give them some money to the community college to do it. Like that's really what it felt like. Right. It was terrible.
And the lighting was bad.
Yeah,
they didn't have like a single studio light there
until the very end when they did they did the Bible study in the middle, and then at the end they did like a wrap up of the episode.
They did like,
and then the lighting was good.
Yeah, it was like if you ever watched The Walking Dead back in its heyday,
Talking Dead,
they would have the talk show right after. It was very much like that.
Which is like not a thing that any shows do
anymore. No one does that anymore at all. This is the first show I've seen do that in a long time.
Yeah, and it's weird. It's also weird because that show is never hosted by any of the people on the show. It's always hosted by other people.
Yeah.
Who would talk about the show.
Absolutely, they would have the guests on.
Yeah,
the people in the show as the guests.
Right, and it
was like, oh, we have Daryl this week.
Yeah, this was hosted by
the person who wrote the show,
Folger.
Started the show.
Why can't I remember her fucking name?
Janet
Folger. Janet Folger. She would host it and pretty much run the show. It was her after show as well. But I mean, the show it's like, from what I can tell, it's like she has a neighbor who's like funny and is like maybe
supposed to be the comic relief.
Yeah,
of this
and we kind of picked up on that. Maybe he's supposed to be gay. Maybe kind of making assumptions there because he's very flamboyant.
Yeah,
and it's like obviously like he probably isn't supposed to be gay, but they're like, if he's kind of flamboyant, that's funny to them. Right. Like they, gay jokes are still funny to right-wing people. And then she has a love interest who's like becoming right-wing, and that's the guy from Dodgeball.
Yeah, and that guy also like started out as apolitical.
Yeah.
And I think that was like the big talking point, which was like, we're going to force my religion and my politics onto you as my boyfriend. And everybody was like, they never referred to him as his name. It was always her boyfriend, your boyfriend. It was, I don't remember the guy's name in the show, but like, it was always like, oh, that's your boyfriend? Your boyfriend doesn't do politics?
Right. Yeah, because we weren't sure who was her brother and who was like her boyfriend and stuff. It was very confusing.
Yeah, it was very odd. You should watch the first few episodes before you watch this one, of course.
Of course. I wanted to say though, I wanted to say real quick. So it feels very obvious that there is a giant age gap between the two of them.
Yes.
Janet
we were making jokes about that like the whole time we were watching it.
Janet looking much older than her co-star Rusty. Rusty Joyner.
Oh God, yeah, you're right.
I'm just looking into it now though. So she's 61. He's actually 51. So they're not too far off.
That age gap looked a lot larger.
It does. He might take a little bit better care of himself. Just saying, not to,
the jokes we were making is that like racism ages you. So I was like, oh, and she's in this shot she's 45, and it's like, and him 13. Just something weird. Like
Right.
25.
Sorry, I'm just looking at a movie he was in called My Teacher, My Obsession, which I'll just read the log line here. Riley struggles to meet new friends after transferring to a new high school where her father is an English teacher. When she meets Kyla, a fellow loner, they become close friends until Riley learns that Kyla is obsessed with her father. Which I think I remember. This is a Netflix movie. I think I remember like watching this. Weirdly enough.
What, isn't that American Beauty?
Probably. I've never seen that.
I thought that was like the concept of a movie from like 2000.
Yeah, oh yeah, because then it like gets yeah. So I'm pretty sure I saw this movie in 2018. Weirdly enough. Anyway, sorry, I just noticed that. But it's why would he not? He needs to be doing content in movies that glorify God, not these gross, disgusting thrillers and Dodgeball. So yeah,
right.
I mean,
that's what I was gonna say.
Anything else about the show you wanted to say?
It was really bad. Do not waste your time with this. We wasted so much time listening to it.
Yeah, we had a good time.
Didn't help that we were like pausing it, but like we did have a good time watching it. But it was very, very odd.
Yeah, and then I was just gonna say in that wrap up show, somebody kicks the tripod at one point, and it's very obvious that someone kicked the tripod.
Yeah, someone kicked the tripod.
So yeah, that's What's a Girl to Do? Go check it out, guys. Big deal. Yeah, I mean, just real quick, going into Carson's Cinema Corner, talking about something I haven't watched. This report on it that I'm going to be reading from comes from one of our favorite sites, NBC News, of course, right up there with Heartnet.com. And I heard somebody talking about this, and then I looked more into it, and it really was surprising. And I do want to watch this documentary. So the headline reads, "Was Abraham Lincoln gay? Scholars make the case in Lover of Men documentary." In the new documentary, Lover of Men, this is reports from September 5th, so we're a little late on that. The Untold History of Abraham Lincoln, director Sean Peterson, not related to Jordan, tackles decade worth of speculation about the sexual orientation of the towering 16th U.S. president. At the center of the documentary, which will be released in theaters Friday, so it's out now, probably not in theaters still, unfortunately. I mean, you can go check, I don't know. Are Lincoln's relationships with four men who at one point shared his bed. But just as important as those intimate connections is the film's exploration of flourishing homosocial relationships in the 19th century, and the idea that only recently has love between men become so problematic. We are in a very, very conservative time. This blip on the map of human history, where we have the names and binaries now laws that could potentially make loving someone illegal, Peterson told NBC News, describing the desire to label, categorize, and even demonize sexuality as being very weird in a larger historical context.
That's true.
We're not trying to make the case that Lincoln was an outlier. We're not even making the case that Lincoln was gay, he said, alluding to the film's focus on emotional intimacy over sex. We're making the case that Lincoln participated in behavior that was extraordinarily common at the time, which that was like, whoa, this is such news to me I didn't even know, which is that like male relationships, because I probably won't read anymore just because I don't need to read verbatim from this article, but like it goes on to say that like he had love letters between these men, and like probably most of them were burnt because like the way they were talking was so intimate that like there had to have been more letters that existed between these four men. And he had like one specific relationship that was like a bigger deal than the other ones were. So the four men he had relationships with were Billy Green, Elmer Ellsworth, David Derrickson, and most importantly, Joshua Speed. That was like the big one that they had a lot of information on. But
Joshua Speed, was that his like trade name or?
That's his name.
All right, that's a pretty cool name.
Pretty cool name. No wonder Lincoln liked him. But it goes on to talk about like that, like whenever their wives would be gone or like, whatever, or like they were single men,
they were
like
in town.
Yeah, they would just like share a bed with their friend, and like, it wouldn't ever be a sexual thing, but like they would be very close. And like, I think they even mentioned that like, you know, a lot of men would like hold hands and walk around. Like, it was just like, it was just very close relationships. And like, sure, there's some homosexuality to that. Like, I think everyone's a little like, gay. Like,
I mean, I think it's also the same thing that happened in like, you know, ancient Greece and Rome.
Yeah, exactly.
People always like talk about that. They're like, oh, he like, you know, he like men, you know, like they're just gay. They were just gay people.
Right. And some of that gets into a gross place with,
it does.
You know,
but like they like, you know, like
stuff.
Roman bathhouses.
Yeah. No,
like that kind of thing. That like
exactly
it's like where some guys will talk about guys so much it seems gay. Kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's just like it's crazy to know, crazy in the way that like I didn't know this, this was just like normal. It was just, you know, and then they would write love letters to each other, like they were in love, but not in the same way, not necessarily sexually, and maybe they were, but they don't have any evidence of that, obviously. But yeah, it was just like a normal thing, and only recently, since like I think that
probably
like
around 1910s.
Yeah, exactly. Around
the gay bomb.
Around that time, the gay bomb dropped, and then like it was really, especially around the time of like television and radio and stuff like that becoming a bigger thing, and then like. That's really where the culture war started, and then it became like a thing of like there are gay people and they're not good, and then that's when people were like, oh there's gay people, like, I didn't know this was a thing, and like then that's when it became like taboo, like, you know, became weird, so to speak. So it was just very interesting. I recommend you read this article, and I definitely recommend people go see this or at least watch the trailer. Like I said, I would like to go see it in theaters. But it might be out of theaters already, so I'm hoping that they will announce a streaming platform for that soon, because I would love to see this film, because it's like you read, because whenever I heard people talking about that, I was like, really, like why are we like fantasizing about if someone was gay or not, like that like is such a disgusting idea to me. And then you read this and you're like, oh wait a minute, this is like the exact opposite. But they're like,
it's the same thing with like Lewis and Clark. I've heard that they were gay.
Yeah. But like what the director's doing is like taking that idea of people being obsessed with someone's sexuality and exploiting that to like rope people in to then watch a documentary about like how like, no, we're not focused on that.
Was gay.
And like, or this was, these homosocial relationships were normal, and it should be still normal. But because of the culture war shit, this has now become like,
it's never going to
quote unquote a problem to people and taboo and stuff. And so, it's very interesting stuff. So I just wanted to share that with you and to the audience. Okay, now we got our clips. We got to watch these. I said we should watch yours first. And so I don't know.
Share my screen or
yes, please.
Okay.
I don't know if there's any sort of setup you want to give this, or if there's something you just want to watch. I don't know anything about this. I think I opened the link and looked at it. I couldn't even tell you what it was that I saw. I don't remember. So this is completely fresh to me.
You're seeing this?
I am seeing this.
Okay.
CNN.
So this was from, I think,
artnet.com.
Artnet.com. This was on TikTok. Oh, no fucking way. It literally just got... Okay, no, there it is.
That's weird that it does that sometimes.
This is from MSNBC.
Well, speaking of, wow, this is a good segue. I didn't even know this was a MAGA thing.
Yeah.
Not hearing anything yet.
Oh, fuck.
Should I be hearing it?
Yeah, it is very important that you hear this.
Okay. I'm glad I said so. Give me a little bit, just to make sure. Yep, I'm hearing it now.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming?
A lot of people there.
Whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight.
What is she holding?
O'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Wow, whoever did that edit was phenomenal.
Yeah.
With the guy singing over it. That was MSNBC.
That was
posted
MSNBC.
Wow, they have a Zoomer working for them then.
Step into the America First Patriotic Fashion Showcase, an event that brought MAGA-inspired designs to life in Ronkonkoma, New York. The show drew around 200 attendees eager to get their hands on Trump-themed outfits, a MAGA hat lipstick shade, and more.
What the fuck? I did not hear anything about this.
No, me neither. Well, only 200 people went, so I hope you didn't hear about it.
Ah, damn it. Well, yeah, Rokonoa is a big deal. I've heard.
Yeah.
What a big. I'm gonna look up where exactly. I'm assuming upstate, right? It's gotta be.
Yeah, it's Ronkonkoma.
Long Island.
Really?
Ronkonkoma.
Yeah, Ronkonkoma. Yeah.
Yeah, Long Island.
Wow.
Yeah. So not upstate, but Long Island. Same difference.
Pretty much the same.
Pretty much.
Do you want me to pull up the next one?
Yes, let's do this. No real setup I want to give this besides this is the most terrifying thing I have ever seen. And then we can break it down. It's very long and I want to sit through the whole thing because we got to just sit with it. So, please do the honors, Gavin.
Oh, no.
Here we go.
You want me to hold it up?
Nope, just hold still.
Oh, ooh, that feels so good. Do you like how that feels when you get your haircut?
Yeah.
Ooh, feels like a vibrator. You hear me?
Everybody likes to get a haircut.
Oh, you could turn it around and use it on your pussy. You hear me?
I did.
I used to use the vibrating massage things. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I forget, what do they call those?
Turn to the side, right there.
That's what I used to use when I was in high school.
Hold still.
It had a ball on it that vibrated. My mom would be like, "Where's the massager?"
All right, turn this side. We'll move.
Ever since you enjoy that movie?
Yeah, all right, turn back around. All right, stop right there.
That's one of my favorite movies. You ever see that movie?
Mm-hmm.
You like it?
All right.
Didn't he cut her hair?
Yep.
He fucked it up. Oh no, it was wrong when I do it.
So that's it.
So you said this fucked you up for like a week.
Well, and it was especially because it was like the first thing I saw when I woke up. I was laying in bed and I just watched this video and I was like, my eyes were just wide open and I was like, what is happening? Because it's like, I mean, immediately I was like, this is a fetish thing. Like, this is for sure. Like, this guy is either jagging off or he's going to go home and jack off to this. So, like, I feel like I'm pretty well versed in a lot of fetishes. As far as just like knowing about them. Like,
right.
There's people who like balloons.
Yeah.
That get off to balloons. Oh, I know you're one of them. So, and they like smoking and pregnant women, and we tend to talk a lot about inflation stuff. That seems to be
in everything.
It really is. If
Once you mention it, you can't stop fucking seeing it everywhere you go.
And then you'll want to watch more of it.
More porn. I mean, you want to watch more inflation stuff.
More inflating.
Right.
Yeah, inflation's been a big one recently. So it's just like I feel like I know about most of them. You know,
right.
I wouldn't call myself an expert, but I would say the kingspurt, the goonspurt. But I feel like I do know about quite a bit of them as just being someone on the internet. And
hair cutting in the car, though. Ever heard about that?
That's a new one. And
That's what the most disturbing thing to me about this video is.
That it's in the
they're
car.
doing it in a vehicle.
Now,
and that I swear to God that I hope that they have something down to capture that.
I don't think so.
Because dude, I would hate picking up hair off of your car after you just cut like half of this person's head of hair off.
So a few things, and one new clue that just keyed me in recently is that, or just now watching it again, is that my assumption is that this is a as to use a phrase I used earlier, a hooker.
Right.
Not actually a hooker. I was just joking on what I said. My assumption is that this seems to be some sort of sex worker who this guy hired to say, I will pay you this amount of money if you let me take a video of me shaving your head. That's just my assumption.
I was
based on the fact that it's in his car.
That it may have been like a homeless person that he was doing a favor for.
Well, I mean, a favor, you think?
Yeah, just like, your hair's getting all crazy. Like, let's just cut it.
But I mean, you look at it and her hair looks very
fine.
Yeah, very normal.
Pretty well groomed.
Yeah, very well groomed. So that's my assumption, is that it's a kink thing, a sexual thing that he gets off to. Again, it's like another humiliation thing where it's like, I'm cutting all your hair off, and something about it is,
and it looked bad too. Like it was like not like a, like it.
No. And I'm sure that wasn't the full, I'm sure it goes the full length of taking all the hair off. I'd have to assume. Maybe there's more, maybe that's just a part of the kink. There's more to it. But the other thing that keys me into that this is a hired job is that they're in a car in an empty parking lot.
Yeah.
And then another thing I just caught on to is if you look closely, you'll notice like a tag hanging off the back of her like jacket or something.
Right.
Meaning that maybe this is a hired sexual favor, and he paid her in new clothing. And they just went shopping, and he's like, after we're done shopping, I'll shave your head, okay?
Oh God, what the hell?
Yeah, it's very disturbing. It's really odd. And then the funniest part
they probably
is
did it in the parking lot that they bought the clothes in.
Yeah. Probably. He's like, we got to do it. We got to do it here
right now.
And the part that is just so funny is that like she just does not stop talking. She like keeps talking, and she's like, and the other thing that, I mean, I think, puts it in concrete that it's a sexual thing, is that she says something along the lines of, we could turn me around and do this to my pussy. She says it at like the very beginning. That something about like shaving her vagina.
Well, let me find it.
It's like right away. It's at the very beginning.
Here we go.
You want me to hold it up?
Nope. Just hold still.
She goes,
no.
do you want me to hold it up? And she goes, oh man.
Oh no.
Here we go.
You want me to hold it up?
Nope. Just hold still.
Listen. She's about to say it.
Oh, that feels so good.
Feels so good.
Do you like how it feels when you get your hair cut?
Yeah.
Ooh, feels like a vibrator.
Feels like a vibrator.
Everybody likes to get a haircut.
Oh, you could turn it around and use it on your pussy.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, you're right there.
But I think
What the fuck?
I don't think she's talking about shaving her vagina. I think she's talking about using it as a vibrator.
Vibrator.
To which she goes on to talk about using her mom's vibrating massager on herself when she was in high school.
Yeah, I did pick up on that. And someone was like, y'all just gonna ignore what she's saying?
Yeah, because I think he just wanted her to be quiet so he could just to get his fix. Because she also
someone said, y'all, this is a fetish. I don't know why it's so popular, but it's a fetish where a guy shaves the back of a girl's hair like this. This, like the back of the neck and stuff. This is fetish content.
Weird. Okay, so it is a known thing.
Yeah, the account was this remixed with the account that this was remixed with has nothing but women shaving their heads posted.
Interesting. So this probably came from TikTok, and then someone pulled it, because I don't know how remixing on Instagram works, or if that's even a thing. Because this account that posted it is like a guy who posts like haircutting stuff.
Content, yeah.
And so, because I was like, I thought this came direct from the source, but he pulled it from somebody else. And yeah, because his thing is, this kind of gives me horror movie vibe. This kind of scary gives me horror movie vibes. What do you think? And then people in the comments were like, I think it's a fetish thing. And he was replying like, I think so too. It was just very weird. The whole thing. I didn't know that was that's a known thing. That's what
someone said.
like.
I mean, the cut is gas though.
Oh yeah, dude. It's
and
fire.
the clipper is fire.
It's a good clipper. Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy needs this guy just needs tattoos and some piercings, and he could get a job out here in Burbank.
I've been to this barber 3 times, 5 stars.
So it's a fetish thing. That's he's paying her to do this, and yeah, I mean there was a local gooner in our neck of the woods who I think might be in jail now. He had a fetish where he would want to get stomped on and kicked and beaten up.
He would pay people large sums of money for that too.
Which I have no idea where he was getting that money from.
Me neither.
But yeah, he did it quite a bit. But I hope he's in jail now. His brother is, that's for sure. Interesting enough. Ran in the family. Yeah. It's just just scary clip. New kink unlocked. New kinks unlocked. Okay, that's it.
All right, wrapping it up.
Yeah, wrapping it up. I gotta go watch some videos. I got some haircutting videos to watch.
I've returned some videotapes.
Next time I was wondering why my barber was moaning as he was giving me a haircut.
Yeah.
He's like,
hold still.
You turn this around and use it on my pussy. And I love that she asked him about if he liked Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah.
You like that movie? He's like, yeah, I've seen it a few times.
Fuck, dude.
That's why I think he's jacking off, because the way he's talking, he's like, right. Because he's like just giving very short answers, like so distracted. He's like, yeah, I've seen it. She's like, yeah, getting your hair cut.
He's working on getting that fade right.
Yeah, he's trying to line it up. Hey, stop talking. I'm trying to line it up.
Break.
Yeah, I've seen it a few times. All right, Jesus Christ. I can't think about that anymore. Jesus Christ. I can't think about that anymore.
Jesus Christ.
Let's move on, though. What You Listening To, a segment we do every week where we recommend a song, album, or artist that we've been listening to in the past week to each other and to you, the audience. Gavin, do you know what you're listening to this week, you son of a bitch?
I was in a panic, but I found it.
Oh, if not, I can go first, too.
No, I got it. So this is it's a song off of Skinty Fia Go Dio from Fontaines DC. This is the same band that did Starburster. This is their 2022 album, so 2 years old. Again, I do kind of feel bad now for not watching them warm up or be like the opening band for the Arctic Monkeys last year.
Seen a lot of reporting on them recently.
Oh yeah, I know, and they got into a beef with Oasis.
I did see that. That was great. We should have talked about that.
The lead singer is he seems like a really cool guy. Like he's very fashionable. He's
you were telling me
really
that.
Cool shit.
Yeah.
He's got like the early 2000s kind of vibe going on, like the baggy pants, the track suits and the small sunglasses. He kind of goes with that usually. At least for this album. But this album is Skinty Fia Go Dio, and I still think that they're an Irish band. But this was a song I heard while I was shopping at Vans, and I was like, this sounds like Fontaines DC. And they are. It was Roman Holiday by Fontaines DC. All right, that may not have been that, but this is a song that I listened to, and I was like, this is a really fucking good song. I mean, I just like it. It's exactly what you would expect. It's very, very good. It's Fontaines stuff. It's not as like dreary and drag as their other stuff, but this is a little bit different. So go give it a listen.
I like to hear that.
I did not update last week's. I definitely posted that one. I meant to put didn't I do that? Was that last week? Did I do that?
Did you post?
They want my Soul Deluxe.
Why do I feel like you did? I feel like you might have posted the ones from
whatever.
last week.
I'll just have to.
Hold on, I'll check.
I have not posted last week's yet. I do have that reminder still on my phone.
Oh, okay. You didn't. Okay,
but I don't think
I
updated like the one.
You didn't update yours because mine's up to date.
No.
The Foxing.
Yeah, it's definitely supposed to be the Louis Armstrong one, right?
Right. Yeah, live in London. Speaking of London, hey, but let me move on to mine if you don't mind. Yeah. This week, I am recommending the 2021 album from hip hop artist Boldy James, someone I never heard of until I heard this album. And the album is Bo Jackson. Now, the reason I heard this is because I realized, and I've probably known this for a long time, but I think this solidified it, that I really, really love anything The Alchemist has produced. That is by far my favorite producer. Everything he touches is just beautiful. So I went back and listened to a bunch of his albums, not all of them because there's a ton. He literally just released a new one this week with a bunch of people on it. But he's doing more rapping now too, which he's very good at.
Is he lyrical flow is good.
Yeah, kind of older white guy. He's been making music, I think, since the late 90s or even early 90s, I think.
He's got that big bop sound, kind of like
big
hip hop. Yeah, just like hip hop.
Yeah, just that
like that heavier hip hop.
Yeah, very very similar to Action Bronson kind of sound, but a little less high energy, I would say. Action Bronson's a little more high energy, who he frequently collaborates with. But yeah, I mean I love the sound of his beats. He uses a ton of sampling. Everything is sampled from old records, and there's a lot of interstitials from shows and movies, and it's just really cool. It just has such a cool sound. It really sounds like a lot of the 90s hip hop. It's very classical in that essence. But then it's classical hip hop with newer artists on it. I mean, just to go over some albums of his that I love, of course I can't pull his name up now. He did an album, Flying High Part 2, which I recommend. It was the first thing I ever listened to from him. One of my favorites is the 2020 Freddie Gibbs album, Alfredo. Is just, I mean, every song on that album's a banger. His stuff is just so great, and I'm just now going back and listening to all of it. But this album's awesome. It's up there as one of my favorites that he's produced. So yeah, Bo Jackson, Boldy James, an artist I had never really heard of, but his stuff is great. I love his sound. Some favorites off of this album are Brick Mile to Montana, which has Benny the Butcher on it, of course. Photographic Memories, which has Earl Sweatshirt on it. Yeah, lots of good stuff. Double Hockey Sticks, the first song on the album, is really good. It's just so good, and I love it. In the gym, driving, I usually throw on one that album or another Alchemist album.
The West Side Gun phase.
Yeah, West Side Gun, another frequent collaborator with The Alchemist. It's just kind of just putting stuff on. I really didn't, to be honest, I never really listened to West Side Gun that much. I kind of listened to West Side Gun and then was oh wait, Benny the Butcher's, no offense, way better, or Conway the Machine's way better. So I just started listening to them more. Again, no offense to West Side Gun, it's just preference. But yeah, that's what I'm listening to.
He won't come on the show now.
He's not going to come on, which is a shame because he was booked for next week.
Well, everybody, thanks for listening to It Takes All Kinds podcast, episode 185. Keep watching, keep listening, keep sharing, keep doing whatever you do to our podcast. We'll be here. Back another week. We got to start figuring out what we're going to do for Halloween, Gavin. That's something I was thinking about. Speaking of horror. Anyways, see you next week.
What the fuck?